Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Oskar, lead vocalist for Ambush, to the program today. How you doing, Oskar?
Good day, Lance.
We were just
doing very fine.
We were just talking briefly. You've poured yourself a whiskey. You've got some cheese. You're ready to have a good time.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors you can cure that corona bitch virus with whiskey and cheese. So I gave that a try actually today.
Well, you know what? As I'm sitting here, I just realized I've reached down on the floor. I have myself a bottle of Wild Turkey, some nice Kentucky bourbon here. Maybe I should pour myself one, and we'll really have a good time.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a fine idea, actually. I mean, considering the virus can come to Vermont as well, so you gotta prepare and, like...
As best I can.
Stock up the whiskey.
Yeah, yeah, and we were chatting via Skype here just before I dialed you up. When you asked me if I was from the States, I said, yes, Vermont. And you automatically came back with, Moonlight in Vermont. Now, where did a young Swedish metalhead ever hear the song Moonlight in Vermont? I'm
a little classic faggot, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but I'm interested in music, and I mean, that's a movie as well, I guess.
I believe so, yeah, somewhere back in there, yeah. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, very cool. Well, let's talk about Ambush's new album called Infidel, coming out this Friday the 13th. That's tomorrow. On High Roller Records. You are encouraging everyone to put on their Jason hockey mask and enjoy the album.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Actually, I prepared myself with a mask because of the coronavirus, but
sure.
I will use it in other ways tomorrow.
Right. I have, of course, heard an advance copy of it that I got via Dustin Hardman, your the publicity person there, who is a great guy. I always like to give him a shout out. He lines me up some fantastic interviews. Fantastic album, Oskar. Really, really good stuff. Your third album as a group, but your first one in 5 years. That's somewhat of a Guns N' Roses pace. But you guys have gone through some changes and stuff. What's been going on in the last 5 years since the previous album?
Yeah, long story short, I mean, after our sophomore album, Desecrator, we toured quite a lot, actually, and got some really nice opportunities to play all around the world. We went to America, we went to South America, we went to Japan and everywhere. And after our Brazilian tour, our bassist Ludwig, he got sick in a kidney disease, so our focus changed a bit. One can say, you know, we were worried about his situation, you know, and we couldn't accept all the gigs that came to us because we needed a live member in that case. And when we realized Ludwig isn't going to be any better, we had to restructure and come up with an idea to solve the problem. So we had live membership for quite some time and took festivals here and there, and no touring, but just one gig at a time. Okay, so let's try this. And after a while we felt like, we gotta record the songs that we have created now, so we better come up with a lineup. So Ambush has been more of a collective rather than a band for the last 3 years, I would say. But right now we have a lineup, and it's going to be a fantastic experience releasing this. We've been working on it for so long, and it's a long wait, but I hope it will be worth it for the fans and for the metal community as a whole. I hope people will appreciate the work.
I think so. It's a fantastic album. Love the cover. Tell me a little bit about the background to the cover art.
Yeah, the background cover is obviously a bit of a flirt with a cult, but it's about the Inquisition. Obviously, it's a little fist in the face to the mainstream religious views of the past, and which is still grabbing hold on societies today. That you take away freedom from very strong independent people, and so it's basically a polarity thing. Good, evil is evil, good. And also we had some cold and warm, you know. We have big fucking fire with a inverted cross, you know. And, in a landscape of northern Sweden with northern lights and everything. So it's a very expressive artwork.
But some great imagery. Did anybody from the band come up with it, or did you license it out to somebody, or who actually did the artwork?
We always do the concepts on our own, but we have a fantastic painter artist called Alexander von Wieding to make the final product, so to speak. So, and he adds a little bit of mystery to the pictures as well. So he's a very important player for us, and we think that the album covers are more or less, I mean, they are a big part of the concept of an album for us. So he's a major player for us, Alexander von Wieding from Germany.
You've released a video for Hellbiter, which is very, very cool. And did I see on your Facebook page you guys just shot one for Infidel?
Yeah, it's going to be a very evil music video.
I'd say from the photos it looked really, really cool. So
so it's about Infidel. Obviously we're going back to the past, like I think it's the 17th century. I don't know. It's the 21st century now, right?
Yeah.
So it's the 17th century we go back to, and we had a lot of people helping us out with a lot of stuff. So it's a big production, actually. So we look forward to the final results of that video.
Cool. Video making, is it something you enjoy, or just a necessarily evil you got to do?
That's probably both. Actually, I love coming up with a story behind the video, but the video recording itself, it's very tough. You know, you gotta do some really heavy pre-work to make everything fit together. You know, and problems always turn up. I mean, but this time it was manageable. It was fun, actually.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's get into a few of the songs from Infidel. Of course, the title track, I put that down as a solid Priest-like opening. Really like that. Judas Priest, obviously, one of your influences along the way?
Yeah, of course. It's our main influence. Judas Priest and Accept.
Well, funny, okay, here's where I'm going to go with the next one then. With Leave Them to Die, I came up, my note here says, if Iron Maiden and Accept had a baby, this would be the song they would create.
Why not? I mean, I hear a little bit of Merciful Fate probably also in that song, because it has a part of the song which is basically ripped from a Merciful Fate track, which I'm not going to...
You'll leave that to us to figure out, right?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
It makes sense. Iron Maiden and Accept, I accept that.
The next track was A Silent Killer. I really like tracks where time changes occur, because it just sort of makes you take notice, I guess, and think. And then that solo in that one, I'm a bit of a guitar solo guy, I thought was pretty epic. Can you tell me a little bit about A Silent Killer?
Yeah, Silent Killer, the story is about... back in the Second Punic Wars, we're talking a long time ago, the Romans were fighting against Carthage, and the Carthage general Hannibal, he had elephants, which he traveled with from Africa up through Spain and then over the mountains down to Italy. So the story is about his conquest. I mean, then the actual song is about the biggest ambush ever in prehistoric, pre-modern times. It's the biggest ambush. So they were actually ambushing the Roman soldiers going through a short little land stretch by a river. So almost all of the Roman soldiers got killed or got enslaved.
Yeah.
So the song is about that.
Now this was the first album where you wrote all the lyrics for, right?
Yeah.
Now, with coming up with like a concept like that for a song like that, are you a natural history buff? I mean, obviously you had to do a tremendous amount of research to be able to tell that story. Are you a history buff? Is it just something you interested, something you stumbled on? How did that part of it come about?
Actually, all guys in the band are pretty interested in military history and history as a whole. You know, as a subject, it's very interesting, and it's a good ground to stand on if you want to like make good stories about something, you know. And of course you need to salt and pepper here and there to make it a little bit more interesting, but history is a favorite subject.
That's very cool, and it lends itself to metal so well, you know.
I think so. At least the interesting parts where a war is both good and evil in the same time. I mean, metal is about good and evil and a reflection of good and evil. So, history is pretty nice to write about, but we can't make it only about history because then it's going to be silly.
Right. Right. You gotta have a little variety.
Sure.
The next track I had was Heart of Stone. Came across really heavy, but it had like a catchy groove to it as well. You know, a great melody. What can you tell me about Heart of Stone?
Yeah. Want to know the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we have a certain girl in our hometown that it's pretty hard to get rid of her. So we basically wrote a song where we get rid of her. Not by eliminating her in any way, but just riding out on the highway and forgetting about her existence.
Yeah.
So the song is about independence and freedom in life, you know, and it's a very positive song, I think.
I've got to ask this question as someone who has never written a song. I don't play any instruments. You know, the only thing I can play, I like to say, is CDs, which helps you guys, you know. When you go to write a song, like say you've got Heart of Stone, is it an idea first that you've got in your head for a lyric, or does one of the guys or you come in with a riff and then the idea comes, or how does it, you know, I'm sure you're going to tell me it goes both ways, but I guess maybe with like the majority. How does the genesis of a song start for you?
Yeah, so majority of the songs, basically we start with a riff most of the time. And most of the time it's Olaf, our guitarist, who likes to like put out riffs on like Dropbox or whatever, and guys listen to this, is this good enough, you know? And then we build from there, and maybe an idea pops up, you know, maybe we can write a story around this for this riff, you know, has this and this will work good. So we basically start with a riff, and then I put some melodies maybe to it, and then we build. And then, I mean, sometimes the lyrics comes first. Maybe I write some lyrics that, okay, I really want this in tones, you know. I mean, I want this to be a song, you know.
Yeah.
So then we work towards that, but that's more difficult, I would say, to create something out of lyrics. So it's more challenging, but it's nice to not limit yourself to just like build songs around riffs all the time. It's
sure.
It's interesting to do both ways.
Definitely.
Majority of the time, it's about riffing.
Yeah, it fascinates me. It just fascinates me. As I always do, I gave you my last track test. I always listen to the last track really intently because I'm thinking, is the group trying as hard on the last track of the album as they do on the first track of the album? You guys definitely passed. Lust for Blood is a great ender. I got to hear a little bit about that one as well.
Yeah, so it's basically about a relationship where where the other person is using you. Nothing that you do is right. You keep trying, and you maybe like that person, but it's going nowhere, and you're getting juiced.
Yeah.
So that's the story.
Very cool.
And in the end, she will kill you.
True. We talked about how you did the video for Hellbiter. Do you and you've just done the one for Infidel. Do you have anything else in the pipe at all, video-wise, or is this going to do it for this album?
Video-wise, we have Infidel, yes. We haven't got any more plans for doing videos for now. Obviously, we are pretty full. The schedule is very full right now, so it's going to be some weeks after our release gig where we can, okay, now this storm is over, now we can focus on the next step,
Yeah.
But we already have a next step, but I can't tell you right now what it's about.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's going to happen a lot of things
Very cool.
very soon, actually.
You guys are getting set to go out on tour over in Europe with Skullfist and Enforcer, which would be a triple bill I would kill to see. But this coronavirus thing, we're talking the day after, the NBA over here suspended their season last night. The NHL has suspended their season now over here. Two prominent sports leagues, and Coachella's been canceled. What's the feel over there as far as this tour with Skullfist and Enforcer? What's it looking like over there?
Yeah, we just need to focus on drinking a lot of whiskey, and we need to enforce people to drink as much as possible, so to stay away from any contamination. It's the main priority for European people is to drink so much whiskey that we kill the virus ourselves. That's our problem.
Okay.
No, but for real, jokes aside, it's of course, we don't know what happens. You can never know, but we will go on the tour. Mm-hmm. As of now,
so
we have no signals that the tour is going to be canceled or anything, but we'll see what happens. I think in the next week we know a little bit more on the... when you follow the news, you tend to build an opinion on the odds of going on the tour. My friends in Hellas and Night, they had to cancel their tour, unfortunately. So yeah, I hope that won't happen to us.
Yeah.
Look forward to this.
Have you toured with either one of these bands before?
Yeah, we played with both Skullfist and Enforcer, actually, but Enforcer, I think a couple of times, and Skullfist one time, I think, in Belgium somewhere. But they are obviously a great combo to tour with. We have the same mentality, and I think we'll build a close friendship. I hope so.
Definitely. That Enforcer tune, Mesmerized by Fire, is probably one of my favorite metal tracks ever. Just a killer tune.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Badass. We've been chatting with Oskar, lead vocalist for Ambush here at Let's Discuss with Lance Hall, their latest album, Infidel, coming out on High Roller Records Friday the 13th. That's tomorrow. Available at all media outlets, Oskar?
Yeah, it's available everywhere.
All right. Oskar, I always like to end things with just sort of some silly questions. I'm hoping these are questions maybe you've never even been asked before. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
All right.
I'm getting tired of all these questions that are very similar, so hit me.
All right. Given your choice of domestic chores, would you rather do dishes or the laundry?
I will do the dishes.
Okay. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
I would say football.
All right. I would ask you your favorite midnight snack, but I got a feeling you're going to say whiskey and cheese.
Yeah, midnight snack. I eat everything. I love when I get home. I I always eat kebab pizza. Kebab pizza is a very Swedish thing.
Okay.
So it keeps your salt levels very high throughout the whole night.
Nice. First car you ever bought with your own money?
It was a Mercedes-Benz C180. It was a beautiful car, but I sent it to slaughter 2 years ago.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Earliest musical memory?
I think it was probably earliest musical memory. That's a hard one. Probably Moonlight in Vermont. No.
I was going to say, tell me Moonlight in Vermont.
Actually, my first concert that I can remember was with a guy called Dr. Bombay. He made a song called Calcutta.
Okay.
Taxi Driver.
Very cool. Pick a celebrity that you would like to be stranded. If you're going to be stranded in an elevator for an hour, pick a celebrity you would like to be stranded with.
That's also a tough one. I would like to be stranded with, I would say Mike Tyson.
Really? Interesting conversation, eh?
Yeah. He's a bit of an idol.
Okay, very cool. Let's see. This is the last one, and this is the one that I have the most fun with. And I was asking this long before all these biopic movies came out. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have play yourself in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Clint Eastwood.
Nice.
No. No, I would probably say like. I would say like Jim Carrey.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Trying to be the funny guy, but I'm boring as fuck.
I think you're very humorous. I've had a good time with this one. Just to wrap things up on a bit of a musical note, if a young person came up to you and said, Oskar, I really want to be a really good frontman for a band, what would you tell them goes into making a good frontman for a band? Vocalist / frontman.
Interaction, eye contact, and self-confidence. Very cool.
Very cool. Once again, the album is Infidel. The group is Ambush. Been chatting with Oskar, Skyping from Sweden. It's afternoon over here where I am, evening where you are. And the album comes out tomorrow, Friday, March 13th. Throw on your hockey mask, your Jason mask, or whatever you want to do to celebrate Friday the 13th. Get the black cat out, put on the album, and listen to it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Oskar.
Thank you very much, Lance, and have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.